Hello and welcome to VOD of Consciousness with Sientir. I'm Sientir and I'm very slow to type wave. Also, you can support me on my Patreon at patreon.com/Sientir. And if you look down in the description, I have set up a Discord server. So for those of you that want to join me on that, you should be able to find a link down there if I've done everything correctly, and I hopefully have. So I have a serious mission today. I have Destruction's Depths. This is... So... Why am I, like... Sorry, I'm noticing... Let's raise the volume a little bit. Hopefully that's not too much. I had just previously recorded Fury 3, and that game is very loud. Okay, so I have recently done this mission on a different character. And so I've done some specific preparations in preparation for this mission. So, for example, I've put on Barbed Spear, because I want to be able to have a reliable source of condition application on this character. And I've changed a lot around. I'm just going to quickly go over some build stuff, because I think build theory is interesting. I haven't done a whole lot with the monks. I switched from Splinter Weapon to Nightmare Weapon. And I did this for a couple of reasons. The first one is that this increases the amount of damage that physical, or any attack really, will deal if there's high armor, which destroyers generally have, because life steal goes through the armor. The other thing is it provides a bit of additional healing. This makes those next 3 attacks effectively heal for 45 health each, which is not insubstantial. And additionally, the destroyers don't tend to bunch up quite as much, where the effect of Splinter Weapon is a bit mitigated by that. Livia, I have not done a whole lot to, but I gave her Ulcerous Lungs, which it looks on the surface like it's a skill about punishing shouts and chants because it causes bleeding, but its primary effect and its strength is in they suffer an additional health 4 health degeneration when they are bleeding. So this will make bleeding effectively as strong as burning. And as you notice, that's going to synergize with Barbed Spear to allow for much higher levels of degeneration going on. Norgu is just doing some stuff that he had been doing that's basically anti-attacker, illusion magic stuff. And then Master of Whispers is actually taking, like, he's doing Minion Mancy stuff, but he's taking up the task of using Ward Against Harm and Blurred Vision with Signet of Lost Souls for some additional energy management. May or may not be necessary, but I figure it couldn't hurt. This will help give us some additional durability. It doesn't have 100% uptime, which is a little annoying, but I think it'll be beneficial enough. Then Zed Shadowhoof is also doing some additional support. He has Ward Against Melee, which is a nice 50% chance to block. Also has Ward of Stability, which prevents knockdown, which is very strong because there's a number of destroyers that use Devastating Hammer, if I recall correctly. And then he has Obsidian Flame, which is just a pretty solid amount of armor-ignoring damage, but also causes Overcast, which is useful with Magnetic Surge, which deals more damage and also protects all allies from an attack, and Magnetic Aura, which protects all allies from attacks if you are Overcast. Again, both of these are additional protection if you're Overcast, and this one will cause some additional damage as well. So my whole goal with this is to have a decent amount of armor-ignoring damage through things like additional support of Barbs, Degeneration, Mark of Pain, the anti-attack hexes and Mesmer lines, as well as some of the stuff here that Zed has, and then a bunch of defensive stuff on Zed, Master of Whispers, and all of that sort of stuff. So hopefully this will work pretty well. This can get very gnarly. So we shall see how things go. I know I've spent a good bit of time just talking about what will happen, but this will probably be a bit of a long episode as well, just as a heads up. And I have pretzels. It's a very good microphone. You can't really hear me chewing. Quite impressive to me, actually. So Lieutenant Thackeray is somebody that we'll be talking to a bit later. After I do, was it the next 2 missions? This is a long mission in and of itself. It might have to be a 2-parter, actually. We shall see. But once we finish this. There's currently an event going on that has some special quests for it. I've done one of them on another character, and I apologize that you don't get to see that one. They're mostly a bunch of running around, so I'll figure out if I want to do them or not, but I figured I might show some of the other ones off, so we'll see. Okay. So, I mean, we're here. Let's get the Beacon of Drockner and make our way through these wisps to our destination. I mean, my build is tuned for fighting destroyers, not for fighting wisps, so these guys are going to be a little bit more durable than they would be otherwise. I do have magnetic aura on me, which is nice. I quite like pretzels. Yeah, you can see where it says 0 and then 45. I'm dealing 0 damage with my normal spear attacks, but 45 damage with the life drain from... Is it Nightmare Weapon? Yeah, Nightmare Weapon. So it's a very strong skill for adding additional damage to a single target. So... As you can see, it's quick succession and a bunch of healing as well, which is very good. You'll also notice, actually, something else that I didn't mention, but I might as well as I'm walking along here. I have chosen to not include any melee attackers on this team. In part, the minions will be able to fill that role, but part of it is because I want us to not be wandering too far, like over-aggroing or wandering too far from... if we can avoid these drakes here. Too far from the rest of the team. I don't want people to be running outside of the wards too much if it can be helped, and because they provide a lot of additional defensive capabilities. So, and I'm hoping we will survive the destroyer onslaught, basically. The destroyers are a good example of some of the effects of later game stuff, or more end game stuff, where certain things become better. Ooh, a top right map piece. That's nice. When we get to the dwarves, I'll definitely want to make sure to deposit my or sell off the junk I don't need. I'm thinking actually about at some point here in one of these episodes picking up a couple of dervish elites in the Wind Paris line, one of which is Onslaught, which the enemy just used, so it's on my mind. Okay, so this I need to hang on to. This I want to sell. I've got a bunch of other random junk in here. Let's ID 2 things I don't need. And then at some point here we need to get back to this, but... Okay, here's Rothgar, our friendly merchant. Yeah, Minor Wind Paris is not worth much, I don't think. Okay, but I don't need those things, so anything that I can do to open up my inventory is good. Okay, so we have Jalus, King Jalus Ironhammer. I'm ready to seek the source of the destroyers. Our forces stand at the ready. We'll either return victorious or in pieces. Are you sure you're ready to go? Yes, there's no turning back now. Okay, let's go fight ourselves some hardy quantities of destroyers. Okay, so this is an interesting mechanic. Ula here provides us... Actually, does she have any dialogue first? These upgrades should allow you to directly control the golems. Okay, she says, the Asura gate leading to the central transfer chamber is far beneath us and overrun by destroyers. I'm not worried, but I'm not worried. In fact, I'm so confident that I'm going to send you ahead. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Have any of the Asuran patrols in the area come back from those caverns? She says, not yet. Take some of my golems along as well. I refit them to let you switch their modes while allowing me to communicate with you. I wouldn't do that for just any human. So, indeed... It takes 15 energy to charge them, which is unfortunately a little biased towards elementalists in particular, but casters in general. Norgu, for example, is 47 energy. He could just charge them all up. and he has more faster paced energy regen. But here we are. So we need to begin wandering through these caverns. Is Sientir annoying? Just costs 15 energy. Not fleshy. Like, as a Paragon, I can generate... QZ. QZ is short for Quickening Zephyr. It's the spirit right here. It makes everything cost more energy, but recharge in half the time. It's very, very powerful. Oddly, the best skill for it is to kind of offset its downside is, in my opinion, a PvE, or this is the PvP version of Signet of Spirits, which grants you energy based upon whether or not there's a spirit nearby. Because it's a Signet, it doesn't have any energy cost, so it's not negatively impacted by the cost increase of Quickening Zephyr. And all it does is get benefit from the reduction in recharge time, so it's incredibly powerful energy management under Quickening Zephyr. Because you're going to be near a spirit because of the Quickening Zephyr spirit, it's an interestingly powerful combination that you can't actually do in... ooh, I have this charged up. Take that. You can't actually do it in PvE because you lack the necessary... what's the word I'm going for? You lack the necessary skill. The skill is not available. I mean, Offering of Blood works just as well, probably, for the most part, but Signet of Spirits doesn't have a health cost or anything in the PvP version. Rank says, hey, I recognize those golems. Ula sent you, didn't she? Help us hold off these destroyers. I guess Rank is doing better. He says, Gad would have wished these creations to reach their full potential. Don't let his work be in vain, my friend. And Sokka says, Ula promoted me after our last encounter. I helped cast the golem's control casing. So they come in melee, ranged, and defense models, which all have different abilities. I'm okay with just kind of having them be an even split. I don't know if there's something that's actually better one way or the other that way. I need to remember that I have Barbed Spear. But you can see that they have a lot of sort of melee attackers, ranged attackers over there in the form of these Destroyer of Hordes. These guys like to use blocking stances, which is why I have Wild Throw. Rank says, aha, we've got them on the run. 3 cheers for Ula and her magnificent golems. Oh, right, and the humans too. Hurrah! Okay, so no drops there to worry about. They like to use Winnowing, which increases physical damage by 4. Or deals 4 damage. Incoming message from Ula. A group of Ebon Vanguard are missing in the caverns. Determine the location. Seek the gate to the central transfer chamber, and don't break my golems. Message ends. A Vanguard unit is missing. I bet they're down here too. Now that those destroyer pests are out of the way, open the gate for us. We'll head further in and see if we can find them. Sokka says, you want to keep going? After that fight? You are brave, human. Don't let me stand in your way. So he's apparently impressed by our willingness to continue. Fortunately, my fat fingering to try to hit button 8 as well as 7 failed. Okay, so we can see Captain Langmar, Chance Redding in jail, Jen Valefield over here. Captain Langmar says, there you are. There's a new breach in the caverns that's infested with destroyers. We've held them back, but we're running out of soldiers. Are you ready for some action? I'm pretty sure these golems can hold them off while we do some serious damage to the destroyers. Let's go. Let's see. Captain Langmar says, keep your wits about you. I don't want to lose any soldiers here today. Chance Redding says, I usually rely on dumb luck to get me out of trouble, but today I shall prove myself through skill. And Jen says, there's nothing to worry about. Our battle tactics should withstand anything the destroyers... the destroyer hive throws at us. Okay, so I want to make sure I get the res shrine there. And I'm ignoring the icy stalagmites and making my way over this way. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment to take a screenshot for as everybody knows, the all-important... whoop, I want to back up into the wards, thank you. They're here for a reason. Okay, so we're doing a pretty good job of taking these guys down, actually, which is good. And yeah, I'm getting a lot of benefit out of... there we go. Some good old days. Man, and the... I really want to highlight the effectiveness of Nightmare Weapon in improving my damage output. It is definitely being beneficial. Okay. That guy goes down. Definitely was a good idea to bring that, because these guys don't always have the conditions. Well, that was probably kind of pointless now that I think about it, but whatever. Oh man, I love getting days going. Here we have a Vanguard Ranger. I don't know if they actually have any dialogue. Probably something... Okay, they just have some boilerplate, like VO. Gives a chance for the Master of Whispers to get some stuff going. We also actually, and this is kind of useful, have a couple of dudes who can use... yeah, that's what I was looking for. Man, this team's working pretty well so far. We have a couple of guys that can use Blood Ritual, which is useful. And also, this is stealing 11 health from each destroyer, so that's not nothing as well. Aha! Cancel your stance. Let's try to get some of this bleed going. Yeah, that guy's already bleeding, but... want to spread I'm dazed around, too, while I'm at it. I'm actually quite happy with how this team is performing. Hopefully it goes more smoothly than things did on the... Ula says, incoming message from Ula. Have you solved the problem yet? What's taking you so long? Hope you're well. My golems had better be in one piece. Message ends. But as you can see, destroyers can be quite durable. And, okay, we are aggroing quite a bit here. And I don't actually need to defeat these guys. So, what I'm going to do is just journey back into the next level. Now, one of the things that you'll see we have to deal with here is I have to re-energize the golems. And that means waiting here for a little bit while I eat a pretzel and make my voice all awkward. I don't have a good way of speeding this up, unfortunately. I do think that I should be getting some headpieces with the superior leadership rune, though. Ah, there we go. I actually want to change the melee guy to be a defense. A reason for that is I think it would be nice to have a bit of additional defensive support. And oh my goodness, they have loaded me up with terribleness. I can't use Shouts and Chants because of hexes. These riders are no small business here. Ow. Okay. Honestly, this stuff needs to be taken down. Yeah, let's pop that. The reason why I want to take out the icy stalagmite is it's using a bunch of really rude spirits. I'd rather not have going on right now. Zed Cuddahoof is, yeah, definitely suffering. Let's see. Oh man. One of the things that I'm repeatedly seeing that's really like this is so cool is the lifesteal factor from I'm used to where my skills would traditionally be arranged and they're not arranged that way. That's throwing me off a little bit, but the lifesteal that I'm getting from the nightmare weapon is really beneficial. It's getting a lot of additional damage in. So that's pretty good. There we go, that's wise. Need some gold somewhere. Okay, so this part up here is pretty rough. And I think actually... Oh, man. Looking at it, probably good to get to it next time. So, I'm going to go ahead and close this episode here. And, you know, until next time, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.